Your CIG-TV News Brief, community headlines, and weather forecasts. I'm Donna Bush. Thanks for joining us. As we've been telling you, National Heroes Day celebrations will happen on the upcoming holiday Monday, and lots of work has gone into planning this major event. Today, we hear from Celebrate Cayman's Alfonso Wright, who tells us more about this year's celebrations.
National Heroes Day is a time for us to reflect as Caymanians on our accomplishments, our historical past, those who made great sacrifices so that we could enjoy the life that we're living today. Last National Heroes Day, we were fortunate to have been able to work with the protocol team to celebrate the 54 justices of peace and vestrymen who were there when our wonderful, colorful coat of arms was created. This year's National Heroes Day, we're celebrating the justices of peace and vestrymen who were serving when we got our first written constitution. The reflective date for our first written constitution is July 4th, 1959. There was a lot of very important things happening for us in 1959. There was a petition signed by 358 women in 1957 petitioning the government to give women the right to vote and to stand for office. This new constitution that we got in 1959 actually gave women that right to vote and stand for office. I'm happy to say that there were 4 very brave women who took part in that 1959 election. None of those women were elected in that 1959 election, but we are so happy to be celebrating Ms. Francine Jackson, Ms. Laurel Watler, Ms. Ethel Cook Bodden, and Ms. Burdell Jackson as the 4 women who stood in that first general elections.
Again, National Heroes Day celebrations organized annually by the Protocol Office will take place in downtown Georgetown on January 27th. We invite you to join us here on CIG-TV's News Brief on Friday to hear more from Mr. Wright. Meantime, the University College of the Cayman Islands has started a number of firsts for the institution, including the start of a speaker series. Today, we hear from President and CEO Dr. Stacey McAfee, who tells us they would like to hear more from the public on things they would like to see at the school.
He is the first of a number of renowned international speakers that UCCI is bringing to Cayman to support public exploration and discussion of issues important to our economy, to our social well-being. And as the nation's public university, we're really excited to build these connections and to convene these leaders. In the end, we believe that the topics will center upon public service, international and government relations, education, as well as technology and the innovation economy. What we hope most is that as people come and explore and spend time in public discourse at the university, that they will reach out and tell us who they would like us to invite next as part of the Public Speakers Series. We are excited to be entering into our spring semester and welcoming more and more new students. Enrollment at the university is growing, and that tells us that we're doing a great job of meeting the needs of our nation as we continue to serve adults and school leavers well.
And you can hear more from Dr. McAfee on tomorrow's Friday Focus segment. Finally, this week, we sat with Minister for Commerce, Planning and Infrastructure, the Honorable Joseph Hugh, earlier this week, and he talks about the many improvements which have been made under his ministry across the various departments and how they're all working towards making the lives of the Cayman Islands population easier. Today, Minister Hugh talks about what many may consider an outstanding government department.
The Department of Commerce and Investment have just really stepped up to the plate, and they have been, rightfully so, they have been recognized and awarded for that, both as one of the best places to work in the country, not just within the government, but also on the Deputy Governor's survey. Customer service survey, they have continued to maintain very high marks and top marks in that area. And this not only comes after introducing their online services and making it much more efficient for persons to utilize their services to get their trade and business license or renew those licenses, and take advantage of the government's small business incentive, where we have all but waived most of the trade and business license fees for micro and small businesses. But they have also stepped up to the plate in the anti-money laundering, anti-terrorism, the Financial Action Task Force regulations that have been put in place. The Department of Commerce and Investment were charged with oversight on what we call the DNFBPs, the non-financial businesses, which are your jewelry stores and your realtors predominantly. And so they've had several outreach training sessions with that. They've been working with the industry and are one of the leading departments in meeting the requirement needs in order to help keep the country off the blacklist. So they continue to do good work. And we continue to recognize their efforts.
And join us on News Brief Friday when Minister Hugh highlights the Department of Vehicle and Equipment Services. Now for a check on other community stories making Radio Cayman headlines today. The world's most talented chefs, culinary influencers, and wine and spirit experts are gathering at the Ritz-Carlton Grand Cayman this week for the annual Cayman Cookout. Speaking to the Cayman Islands Department of Tourism's Director, Rosa Harris, she says the return of the event kicks off the culinary calendar each January and reinforces the well-established reputation as a regional leader in exceptional Epicurean experiences. The 12th annual event features more than 70 events this weekend, including a wine fair and auction, beach bash, and chef competition brunch. For more information, you can go online to caymancookout.com. And for more on this and other Radio Cayman stories, you can go online to radiocayman.gov.ky. Turning now to today's weather forecast from the Cayman Islands National Weather Service. Fresh easterly winds and rough seas continue as a high-pressure system over the western Atlantic Ocean and a tight pressure gradient across the northwest Caribbean linger. Radar images show isolated showers over the Cayman area, which are moving towards the west-southwest. Thursday's high temperature reached 84 degrees with partly cloudy skies with a 30% chance of showers expected. Winds are from the east to northeast, 15 to 20 knots with higher gusts. Seas will be rough with wave heights of 6 to 8 feet. And of course, a small craft warning remains in effect for you boaters out there. And remember, you can go online to weather.gov.ky for the latest forecast. Remember, they also have an app that you can download. It's CINWS. And that's the latest from us here at CIG Television. If you happen to have missed today's news brief, you can go to the Cayman Islands Government Facebook page as well as the CIG Television YouTube channel. I'm Donna Bush, wishing you a wonderful night and see you back here again tomorrow.
Join Donna Bush weekdays at 6 p.m. for the CIG TV News Update. Get the latest on what's happening in government on a daily basis. News Update first at 6 p.m.
I'm Jody Ann Powery. I'm the Police Media Officer with the RCIPS, and I'm here to give you some crime prevention tips on how to best protect your property. The first thing that we want to discuss is our points of entries. Let's start with the front door, and then we'll move on to the windows and the back doors or sliding glass doors. The first thing to consider is the front door. This particular front door has 2 deadbolt locks. One of these deadbolt locks are properly carpentered and the other is not. When your door is properly locked, you'll hear a click at the end and the deadbolts are not able to move. If it is slightly opened, then you can push the deadbolt back without having any restrictions. I'll now proceed to show you what your lock should look like when it is properly locked. When it comes to your windows, you want to make sure that your window is locked all the way down. because even though the lock is on, if it's not all the way down, it can still be pried. The proper way to lock the window is to make sure that the window goes all the way down to the seal and then you pull across the lock. When you have a sliding glass door at home, you want to make sure that you have secondary locking devices in addition to the lock that comes with the door. One of those can be a simple piece of wood that's jamming the doorway. We want to encourage you to ensure that you don't make things easy for burglars who are looking for opportunities to break into property by leaving your property out in plain view. Some of these items are your car keys, your electronics, and your handbags. Make sure that you put these properties away when you're leaving the house or when you're going to bed. When you're going camping or if you're taking your family on a trip, you want to ensure that your property has some sign of life. This can be done by leaving a light on or putting timers on your lights. And we want to ensure that our family homes are safe. In order to do so, we encourage that people take the proper precautions by starting up neighborhood watches or encouraging family members or persons they trust to check on their properties while they're away.
The Esterly Tibbetts Highway 3-lane roundabout is ready for drivers. It's time to make sure you know how to use it. First, know which exit you need to take. Pay attention to lane arrows and signs. Make sure you use your signal to change lanes or exit the roundabout. To turn left, you always approach in the left-hand lane and indicate left. To drive straight ahead, you need to be looking out for signs and road markings indicating which lane to use. Get in one of the lanes marked with a straight-through arrow. If turning right, you must use the right-hand lane and indicate accordingly. To use the roundabout safely, remember these 3 tips. Know your exit, pick your lane, and signal to make your turn.
The Royal Cayman Islands Police Service has launched a new service to apply for a police clearance certificate online. To make this process quick and easy, ensure you have digital copies of all required documents readily available. At a minimum, you'll need a copy of your passport photo page. Our website lists the full requirements. If you are using an Apple iOS or Android mobile device, you can use the camera to take photos of these documents while completing your application. After you have read the instructions and are ready to start, type in the alphanumeric string from the CAPTCHA image and click the green button that says Start Application. If you can't read the letters and numbers properly, click Can't Read Image below the photo to try again. To complete your application, you will follow 5 simple steps. These are shown at the top of each page, and the blue circle will always show where you are right now. Enter the requested data in each field. All fields marked with an asterisk are required. Each field has some help information, and please pay attention to the correct format for dates and telephone numbers in particular. When selecting your birthday, you can also use the calendar feature. If a field has a drop-down list, you can scroll through alphabetically or start typing to find the correct option. You will be asked to enter your email address twice to ensure it's correct. This is the address we will use to send you a confirmation email and receipt. Once you have entered all of the required information, click Next at the bottom of the screen. If you click the Cancel Application button at any stage in the process, you will lose everything you've entered so far and be returned to the home page. On this page, answer the questions about past offenses, provide details if relevant, and then click Next. In this step, you will select the type of service being requested and details of the person applying, as well as anyone who might pick up the certificate on his or her behalf. If you select certain options, more information may be required at this stage or later in the process when you are uploading your documents. Finally, select the reasons you are applying and then click Next. If you make a mistake, use the drop-down menu to change the reason, or click the red X to delete a line. Remember, if you click the Cancel Application button at any stage in the process, you will lose everything you've entered so far and be returned to the home page. If you need to go back to a previous page to review or change data you already entered, you can use the Back button. You can also navigate through the process using the links at the top of the page. On this page, you will be asked for the relevant digital documents to support your application. On each line, click the Upload icon, select the correct file, and then click Upload. Repeat this process for each document. Based on the information you've already entered, this page will tell you the basic documents required. However, please remember to read the guidance notes to ensure you've included everything for your particular application. You can click the Upload More Documents button if you need to add more files, using the Comments field to briefly explain the additional documents you are submitting. If you go back to previous sections after uploading documents and make changes that affect these requirements, you may need to re-upload your documents. This is the final page before submission. Please review all information provided to ensure it is accurate and complete. You won't be able to change anything on this page, but you can use the Back button or the links at the top of the page to return to earlier pages and update any field. By submitting this application, you are declaring that the information provided is accurate and truthful. If you are satisfied with your application, click Proceed to Online Payment. You may need to allow pop-ups and then click the button again to show the payment screen where you will enter your debit or credit card information. The Cayman Islands government accepts Visa and MasterCard, and you can use a debit or credit card issued anywhere in the world. Payment will be processed in Cayman Islands dollars for local service, and in United States dollars for overseas service. If you have questions about any exchange rate that will be used, or foreign currency transaction fees, please contact the bank that issued your card. The Cayman Islands government will not receive or retain your card information. Once your online payment has been authorized, you can view and print your receipt. Click Continue to return to our webpage for details on pickup date and time. If there is an issue with your application and we have to contact you for more information, your application may be delayed. You will also receive a confirmation email with this information and your official receipt. Please remember to bring your passport for identification when you collect your certificate from the Criminal Records Office.
Did you know planning permission is required to clear land by mechanical means? You should check with the department as a planning and permit application may be required. Did you know that planning permission is required for a shed? Did you know you should check with the department as a planning and permit application may be required? Did you know that planning permission is required for an addition, alteration, or any material change to your house? The 10% rule no longer exists. Did you know you should check with the department as a planning and permit application may be required? Did you know your mailing address details on your land register must be up to date in order to receive notices on new development which may impact you? Visit Lands and Survey Department to check your mailing address is correct. Did you know that walls, fences located along the road require planning permission no matter the height? You should check with the department as a planning and permit application may be required.